Think back. When was the last time you actually planned your whole night around a movie? You ordered tickets, you bought popcorn, you sat in a dark room with strangers all trying to enjoy the same thing at the same time. I know a lot of you probably can't even remember when that was. For a lot of people, the movie-going experience is now scrolling Netflix for 45 minutes, sighing, and then watching Bob's Burgers again.
Teddy, you'll eat anything.
What? I won't eat anything. I'm pretty discerning.
Eat this.
No. What was that? Don't feed a guy a sponge, Bobby. Don't feed a guy a sponge.
You put it in your mouth, Teddy.
Streaming didn't just change how we watch movies, it changed the kinds of movies we get and what the future of movie theaters is. So let's break this down, because streaming hasn't just disrupted the industry, it's basically detonated it. Movies used to be events. Star Wars, The Lord of the Rings, The Matrix, these weren't just films, they were cultural moments. People camped outside theaters for midnight premieres. Now, we camp on our couches, scrolling endlessly until Netflix's little countdown just autoplays the next movie we have never heard of. And that shift has consequences. Movies feel smaller now, less communal, less memorable. They've gone from let's go out tonight to, I want some background noise while I scroll TikTok. But streaming also did something good. It opened access. An indie like Roma, a black and white Mexican drama, would have barely been seen outside film festivals. Thanks to Netflix, it was suddenly an Oscar contender with a global audience. That simply wouldn't have happened 20 years ago. So streaming democratized movies, but it also made them disposable. Like yes, you can watch any film instantly, but when everything is instantly available, nothing feels special. Now let's talk about the movies themselves, what actually gets made in the streaming era. Here's the trend. Theaters are now reserved for spectacle. Blockbusters only. Avengers, Fast and the Furious, and of course...
Barbenheimer.
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 Barbenheimer, the weekend double feature of the new films Barbie and Oppenheimer.
Such a good weekend for movies.
If it doesn't promise a massive box office weekend, studios don't even bother sending it to theaters. But what about all those mid-budget movies, the rom-coms, the thrillers, the character dramas that used to thrive? Those migrated to streaming. Netflix basically built a second life for the rom-com with hits like To All the Boys I've Loved Before and Always Be My Maybe. You're not seeing those in theaters anymore, they're now Netflix movies. On the other end, Apple is going prestige. Coda and their heartwarming family drama won Best Picture at the Oscars, the first streaming service to do it. That was Apple planting a flag. Streaming can do art, not just content. Will they keep trying to push that or continue with the enormous amount of seemingly homemade slop? We will see. But let's be honest, most streaming movies feel like they were written by an algorithm in a cubicle. That's not far off. Netflix is infamous for using data to greenlight projects. That's why so many of their films are fine. Not great, not terrible, just safe, broad appeal entertainment. Think Red Notice with The Rock, Gal Gadot, and Ryan Reynolds. Huge stars, enormous budget, completely forgettable. I didn't even know this movie existed despite starring some of the biggest stars alive right now. Still, there's a silver lining. Streaming cracked open global cinema. Without Netflix, would South Korea's Parasite have exploded worldwide? I know it's not a movie, but think about how massive Squid Games is. Hollywood might be stuck recycling IP, but streaming gave us international access like never before. Which brings us to the theaters. Are they dead? Obviously not, but they're like that one guy in every zombie movie who keeps saying I'm fine while hiding the nasty zombie bite on his arm. The pandemic made things worse. Remember when Warner Brothers dropped their entire 2021 slate?
In what could be a huge change for the future of movie-going in this country, some of the biggest upcoming blockbusters will head straight to streaming. Warner Brothers announced all of its upcoming movies from Dune and Wonder Woman 1984 to the new Tom and Jerry movie will be on HBO Max on the same day they hit theaters. Wow.
Movies like Dune, Godzilla vs. Kong, and The Matrix Resurrection straight onto HBO Max the same day they hit theaters? That was basically Hollywood saying, yeah, theaters might be optional now. Theaters were furious, directors were furious, Christopher Nolan even left Warner Brothers over it. Now theaters are fighting to survive on the backs of giant cultural events. Spider-Man No Way Home pulled people back into seats. Then came the
Barbenheimer
phenomenon, which wasn't just two movies, it was an internet-fueled movement. People dressed up in pink for Barbie, then turned around and sat through 3 hours of nuclear dread with Oppenheimer. That weekend proved something. If you make theaters feel essential, if you make it a real event, audiences will show up. However, this can't be manufactured. The audience needs to feel it themselves. But here's the reality. Smaller movies don't stand a chance. A quirky indie drama doesn't even get screen time at most multiplexes. Theaters are evolving into what concert venues are for. Places for big communal events, not everyday entertainment. So what's the verdict? Streaming made movies more accessible, but also more forgettable. It gave us diversity in what gets made, but also flattened originality into algorithm-friendly content. Theaters aren't gone, but they've been forced into a new role, temples of blockbuster spectacle. Movies aren't dead, they're just different, faster, cheaper, more fragmented, and a little less magical. The question isn't whether theaters can survive. The real question is, do we want them to? Do we want cinema to stay an event worth leaving the house for? Or are we fine with movies being something you scroll past at 2 a.m. while eating cold pizza? If we want the movie theater experience to continue, we need to go out and see the movies in said theaters. Because in the end, the future of film doesn't just belong to studios or streamers, it belongs to us.